Hi guys! So I was asked again just recently on how I do the scar makeup for a few of my cosplays. Off the top of my head I can only think of two of my cosplays that do use scars at this point in time, and that would be 2P Germany and Ezio. So first I will go over the scars that I do for 2P Germany, and then I will go over the scar that I do for Ezio. Each have their own disadvantages and problems. For 2P Germany, it's because he also has scars on his forearm, and that can be difficult to deal with for some people because of you have hair on the front of your arm, and I'm not gonna say that you need to shave off the hair on your arms because that's not really necessary. And then for Ezio, it is because he has it going into his lip, where if you can see, it's actually, this scar is also split on the center of his lip, and you can see that it goes inside. And I have found out a way to do that. So, first I will do 2P Germany. I will not be putting the wig on because that's a lace front wig for me, and that is actually kind of hard to get on. Alright, so first we're going to start with 2P Germany scars, and you're actually going to need three things. Well, basically three things. First you're going to need is a tube of eyelash glue. This is actually what I use also for my lace front wigs, but I use the white cream because it tends to be stronger, and also this one is special because it has, for applying it, is a paintbrush, and that is something that you need especially for scars and detailing. The second thing that you're going to need is actually concealer. You can have concealer in this form. I like this one because I can get detailed with it, and I also have the concealer in like lipstick form. I also have concealer in kind of like a more larger paintbrush where you just turn this and the cream comes out of a paintbrush style applier. And I have a few other types of concealer, but you need something that is actually lighter than your skin tone, something that is like extremely pale but not white. You do not want white. And then you want, this is a pencil brush, and it is not exactly red, but it is of a maroon color. To give you an example, this is actually my red pencil that I use for doing all of my red-headed characters and Axel and Reno and their tattoos. And then this is the maroon that I use for scarring. You can tell that it is slightly darker, but you can also tell that it's still red. So, first what you're going to want to do is, I will do the scar on this side. You're first going to want to take your concealer, and you're going to want to just apply it on this side. You might not be able to see very well, and you're just going to dab it with your finger. And what you're doing is kind of showing that, making this as like the fresh skin that is just healed kind of look. And you might not be able to tell very well on this computer, but it really is much lighter than my skin tone. Alright? And then what you're going to want to do is take your pencil, and you're basically going to follow that line. You might have to go over it a few times for you to get the darkness that you need. And 2P Germany has like these hash marks for it being stitched up, but the way that it is drawn is not actually how a scar is sewn up. So I actually just do the dots on either side, because that's the scarring that you get from stitching up a wound like this. It's a lot easier when I'm not doing it on a computer. And you're going to want to make these very dark, because you'll be covering this up with concealer in a second. The scar doesn't go that forward. Okay. Then you're not going to be as heavy with this, but you are going to do a light application just dabbing over it with the concealer. And you're just going to dab with your fingertip to kind of have it fade in and not be as strong. Okay. And then you're going to take your eyelash glue and you're just going to follow along that line. You might have to do a few passes with it, just letting it sit and dry, and then coming back and applying. But you will eventually get to the point where it's going to be drying up and wrinkling. And that will give it the effect that a real scar has. If you have seen anybody that had a wound that was sewn up, you will see that this is just a larger version of it. Alright, and so you would want to do a few passes of that. You probably can't see it very well on the computer, but it's way it should be. Okay, and then for your arm. This is kind of more difficult than others because depending on which hand you use, obviously. Jiminy's scars are on his right arm, and I'm right-handed. So, let's see how this is going to do. So you're going to use your concealer again to make the fresh skin. And don't worry about the hairs. It can be slightly painful when you take the makeup off, or when you're wearing it, because the eyelash glue it is glue. So it does bond together, and if you start picking at it while you're wearing it, it might pull on your hairs of your arm, but just don't pick at it. Is the best thing that I can say about that. And if you do seal it, it will have less of an effect, but over time, yes, eventually it will do that. And the eyelash glue that I use is waterproof, but that's waterproof, not that it won't last through all of the water that you put it through. Alright, so I have the concealing makeup in the 3 lines that goes over his forearm. And then you're just going to follow again. Follow with the pencil. You don't have to have it exactly straight because you're going to go back with your finger and you're just going to blend it in with your finger, giving it an effect of being, and here's the scar. Effect of blending it in. Right. I'm going to go through all 3 scars with the pencil. And if you don't already have it with doing your pencil makeup, you're going to want to get a pencil sharpener that has both a small and a large option for sharpening. You will find this very, very helpful because while you don't need it very sharp, you do need to, especially for me, with how much I use this, I need to regularly sharpen it. And it will also give you a darker color for them. If you're doing this for a photo shoot and whatnot, you don't really have to be that dark. But if you're doing this for like a panel and people are going to be seeing you from far away, you are going to want to have them darker and more noticeable. Okay. I say that's good enough. Good enough government work anyway. Okay. Now, your eyelash glue. You technically can go without this, but I like it because it has the wrinkling effect. You do want to have it on here because it helps seal it, but I put it on there because I'm a perfectionist and I stare at it all the time whenever I'm wearing this cosplay. I'll only put the eyelash glue on the first scar just to give y'all the idea of what it looks like. And then you can also make the determine if you want to do it on all the other scars. So this top scar is the one that has the eyelash glue. And it has a shimmer to it. This is the one that has it. Has a shimmer to it that you don't find on the other three that are on my arm. And it allows the skin to wrinkle and just pull in a certain manner that scars tend to do. So, that's how I do my 2P Germany scar makeup. Now on to Ezio. Okay, so the one thing that I forgot to mention is that when you're taking it off, don't feel discouraged if it doesn't come off for the first few times. It can come off with water and soap, just like everything else, but because I don't like scratching at my skin till it turns red, because most of the time I have to go into a different cosplay afterwards and it can hurt, I use this is a eye makeup remover pad, and I just saturate a little bit more with the makeup eye remover liquid, and you just have to repeatedly go over it and it will come off, and it doesn't cause any pain. You don't have to scratch at your skin and turn it red, and it just comes off. See? Nice and easy. Alright, so now on to Ezio's scar on his lip. It is on his right side. So you're going to take your concealer and you're just going to dab again, and you're going to want to actually go onto your lip and just follow that down, curve, and then go back this way. And then you're going to dab with your finger until it blends in, giving it the very fresh skinned look. Okay, that being done, you're going to want to, since it's a little bit more noticeable, you're going to want to also blend away from it so that blends kind of in. Alright, now you're going to take your pencil and you're going to follow that along very dark, again going into the lip. You're going to follow it go out. Then you're going to dab with your finger again to make it a little bit lighter. You don't want it too light and you don't want it too dark. Okay. And you're going to take your eyelash glue. This is something that you're really going to want to do quite a few layers on for you to get all of the wrinkling and whatnot and all the sealing that needs to happen. You might have to go back with a pencil to put more red on it. And you will have to go onto your lips. It'll stick. It will stick. As you might be able to tell as I'm talking, you have to put it on your lip. I need a little bit more red. And for that, I just dab. I don't draw. Just to make it a little bit more red. this dry, another layer, eyelash glue. Alright, then let that dry. And there you go. There's the scar. And it stretches and moves with your lips. You can eat and drink, though I suggest that you drink on this side of your mouth. And it is very noticeable, like his is. And you can use it for any of the Assassin's Creed, and actually any of the cosplays that you do that will require scarring around the mouth or in an area where it has to be able to move. Like if one of your characters that has scars that goes through an eyebrow, and your eyebrow is actually something that moves quite a lot. Whether the character moves it or not, it doesn't matter. Your eyebrow will move. And I have seen a lot of other cosplayers and the way that they do their scar makeup that it isn't very movable. Or it cracks when you move. And so this is a very simple and easy way for you to have makeup that won't come off very easily and move. You might want to keep all three of them with you if you're going through a long day of con, and just to touch up in case you need it. And it doesn't take long to do that. Now, sealing wise, I don't like sealing the scar when I'm using this, the eyelash glue, because the eyelash glue will practically seal it itself. And I've noticed that with my sealer, it doesn't actually, it makes it want to peel more than what if I put it on it. So I just leave it off. And you can, after you put these two bases, the base on, and you don't put this on, you can use this, but I don't really find it very extremely necessary because this seals it.